What's up, Walter? Just kind of getting set up here. I think we're kind of there. Cool. How you doing, Walter? How's your weekend going? A double Z28. Let me go check the box of 5-packs here real quick. Ultra Hot Z28. Nothing in that box. Bring it back here. Doesn't look like I have another one. I have a 5-spoke. Let's go through these over here. Here's a basic wheel. Making a mess, of course. 7-spoke. I think all these are 4 boxes. Alright. So no luck on the Ultra Hot one. We got a 5-spoke, a basic wheel, and a 7-spoke. If you could hear me. Oh, not sure if you can hear me from back there, but I got a basic wheel, 5-spoke, and 7-spoke extra in package. Who else has joined us? Oh yeah, we'll find something. Oh, did I open any? It's... Nope, not in there. Got Manic Flipping. What's going on? Just gonna have some fun. Shoot the shit. Drink some beer. We got new cases in for this holiday stuff. I was gonna put them in, so you can see this one. Obviously, I just did this video, but this cases are a little bit different than the last ones. They actually have this clip on here now. Turn it sideways, you'll be able to see it just a little bit better. You can see that clip, and then they changed the hinges over here, so it's got these that stick out this side instead of the ones that were on the top and bottom where they kind of went into. So it's maybe a little bit nicer. Same top and bottom. This is the old style here. See if I can get this out without too much craziness. I didn't have anything to secure the front from opening, so it's just kind of on its own. But here you can see the clips, so they just kind of go right into there. So it's a little bit different. I thought they were the same. I got them from the same place. I think I did a reorder. So but these are the ones that came. Don't really matter to me, but I think they look cool. They package them up pretty nice. These go inside a box, so they got some double wrap and kind of another inside sleeve that they're in, so keep them from getting scratched or whatever. But I got those to put in. Like I said, all the holiday rod stuff we'll go through. Hadn't put took any pictures to put on the website for a little while. I forgot how much of a pain in the butt it is to to get them all to the, set up. Take the pictures. You got 3 pictures, and then you got to format them, and then you load them. It's a pain. I was like, crap. We got Aaron on. Yeah, these came from Amazon. Trying to think. Maybe I'll post them down in the comments after we get done, or down in the description or something. I can put a link to them. I think they're like relatively cheap, I guess, considering. Plus, you can hang them on the wall. So they got an area to hang them on the wall, but just something to kind of put some cars in. Been contemplating and looking at building the display cases, or how I'm going to build the display cases for the Hot Wheels room once I get ready to build the house. So I threw out some teasers out there about selling the whole collection so I could get kind of moving on it. And I got a lot of, you're going to regret it and stuff. And I'd keep some choice pieces that I found that I know are tough. But for some of the other stuff, that just expensive and tough is just two different things, I guess. So things that are expensive but relatively easy to get, like not a big deal. Granted, they could go up in price a little bit, but you never know. You could snag one for a decent price or whatnot. But even my wife was like, "You're crazy." I was like, "I'd really like to be in my new house. Plus, I wouldn't have to work." That's the other thing is, once all that's done, I sell this house, we get in the new one, and all that is done, I'll be able to retire, and I could do Hot Wheels full time. So it gives me more time to do that kind of stuff that I enjoy, other than taking pictures, of course. But I don't mind. I enjoy putting the information on the website and stuff, and going through stuff, and of course finding it. So I got a couple awesome stuff coming. I should reach out to Jeff. He's got a bunch of my it's mine now, but I bought a bunch of Mexico stuff off of him. So he has my Mexico Turismo, and that should complete everything that I have. And then I have to make a decision to open up the Italy package, which is fairly nice. I don't know if I want to do that yet. I'd rather probably find another one. Rivets at the store. Oh, I found the new Hot Wheels Fast and Furious Premium. Unspun. Dang. I don't go too many places. We don't have a whole lot in the immediate area. I have a dollar store, so I think I pick up stuff every once in a while. But I certainly don't look at the rivets. But I'm not necessarily looking for that. But that's pretty cool. A red McLaren, and it's unspun. What else is going on? What are y'all getting into? What are y'all looking for? Let's have a Hot Wheels conversation. What is everybody kind of searching for? The Walmart and the Buy Mart. Yeah, I have a one stoplight. I have a Mom and Pa's grocery store, and they don't have any Hot Wheels. They have some Legos. I thought that was interesting, the small Lego kits. I was like, oh, could they have them? But they don't have any Hot Wheels. And then the dollar store, and there's a dollar store on the way home from work too. So that's kind of all I have. If immediately I can go to Richmond, and I can go to Charlottesville, and obviously everything is available there. But I don't feel like driving all that craziness, and just to find out that somebody's already gone through and found all the good stuff. Been on the X Mods kick lately. Upgradable RC cars. Oh, you're an dang. I have enough with just Hot Wheels. There's no way I think I would do. I mean, I guess I kind of have a second hobby with my trucks and stuff, but outside of that, I don't have time to barely do all this with working. So, started a job back with the Department of Corrections. There were some of those openings here. I didn't really pursue any of them when I was looking for the job. I don't know if I know guys that were stationed in Gitmo and did correctional facility duty type of that while I was in the Navy, and they painted a pretty poor picture. And I don't know if that just carries over to what it could be like here in the U.S. Could be similar, but if somebody were to spit on me, I would be pretty upset. And they talked about how they got spit on and stuff thrown at them all the time, feces thrown at them. So painted a pretty terrible picture. So It's interesting to see like Secret Service and some FBI stuff posted, but no thanks. I'm not into. I'm good. I've served my time, and the more I've been learning about other things that have happened throughout the military and the government stuff, like it, I just don't think I'm ready to. I don't think I want to be part of it. I'm happy being on my own. Try to score an 85 Toyota 4Runner from a retired guy. Gotcha. Pretty cool trucks. I did when I worked or I was in high school, I worked for a used car lot, and I don't know if it's 85, I can't remember the year, but we had a Toyota 4Runner come in, and we redid, we put new carpet in it because it was just terrible, muddy, and stained and stuff. And so I remember taking out all the seats and everything to put in the new carpet for it. And, we had to cut where all the bolts would go and all that kind of stuff, make slits in there or cut it open. Because they didn't come that way. I think some of them come that way now, where they already have the area available for you to bolt back everything. But it didn't back then, at least on that. 85 is the last year of a solid front axle, first year of the EFI 22RE. Gotcha. I just remember it was red. It was pretty much stock, but I couldn't tell you what year it was. I was never into any of that kind of stuff. We had a 67 Chevelle that came in. It's a super sport kind of clone, I would say. Canary yellow. That was fun to drive. I think the funnest thing I had to drive actually was this Ford LTD. It was I think it was an 85 actually, like an 85 Ford LTD, and they came with 5 liters, and I'm like obscured, so you didn't know. And he asked me to go get something from the parts store and get gas in it or something. I can't remember, but I remember getting into it and thinking it was like this, mundane little, car. I went to take off because I was, teenager, so I punched it, and that thing spun around on me. I was like, holy crap. And I went and got the stuff, and I remember getting back, and I was like, opened the hood, and it had the old 5-liter Mustang motor in there. I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, pretty cool sleeper. It was definitely a sleeper. Like I said, I don't remember it having any badging or nothing, but it was like, a white with the blue interior and stuff. What's up, Diesel Dog? What you need? So, but I had some pretty cool stuff come into that place. That's where I got my high school truck, 65 Ford F100. He gifted it to me after I've been working there for a while. It was one I kind of favored back and forth when I would go to play, go get stuff or whatever. So if he was like, hey, go get this, I'd like, hey, can I take the truck? And he would say, of course. It had a 4-speed with Granny Low in it. It was 2-wheel drive, had a 300 straight 6 in it. It was fun. It already had aluminum, I think there were aluminum cast wheels on them in it. And it was a non-power steering truck. And it had these 10-inch wheels, 10-inch wide wheels in the front and back. That thing was a bear to turn when when it wasn't rolling. When it was rolling, it wasn't too bad, but it was kind of funny. It was like its own security system, theft security system, because I remember my friend getting into it, and it was in the parking lot, and he was trying to get it out, and I could see him standing inside the truck trying to turn the steering wheel in there. That was pretty funny. Yeah, I like the 5 liters Mustang motors. I had a couple of Mustangs, 3 of them, 4 of them. My first one was an 87 hatchback with the 5 liter. Actually, it was it was a stroker motor, 387 stroker motor. That thing would haul, and then I got an 89 Mustang GT convertible, and what else did I have? A 2004 Mach 1 Mustang, which didn't have really anything other than nice interior, I guess. So 4.3 liter. I enjoyed that one. I had that in my ZR2. Both ZR2s had, I think all ZR2s have the 4.3. I don't know if they ever had anything smaller than that. So, decent little motor. I'd say the only thing I've had a couple trucks in the past that I kind of regret not having. One being the 1990 454 SS truck. I remember I had that for quite a few years, and the only reason I sold it was because it was kind of deteriorating through the years, and I never, moving back and forth in the military, I didn't always have a place to store it and have a garage, and so I ended up selling it so it could be, taken care of a little bit more. And then I had a 2007 F350 King Ranch that I got just before I had a major, before I had major chest surgery. And I had that for a little while. And before my surgery, I was having a hard time getting up into it. It had an 8-inch lift and 37-inch tires and stuff, and it was a bear to get into. And so I ended up selling it or trading it in for 2014. The first year of the Dodge Charger had that newer body style back then when they changed it over. I think it was 13. Copperhead orange, black accents, black wheels, black leather interior. Has the RT with the track pack and a couple other electronic goodies, I guess, on it, you would call it, to improve the performance of it a little bit. It was pretty quick. I mean, it'd jump up. You could hit 140 pretty quick. I had a 5-liter V8 in my Hyundai sedan. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a little Blazer ZR2. I think that'd be a little fun farm truck to have. They're pretty reliable. I know my ZR2, man, it was almost impossible to really get stuck. I went through a lot of stuff. The only thing I ever got that ever stopped me was I went through about 3 or 4 foot of water, and it got into the intake, and it stopped the motor. And then I had I had a buddy pull us out of the water, and then the water was low enough that it wasn't sitting, in the engine or nothing like that. It just got some in the intake, which killed it. But it took a while for us to get it to start again. Oh, I know something else that popped up recently. So another guy, Keith, was send me questions about some Mustangs, some 65 Mustangs. So these gold ones come in some 5-packs. And he was asking me about the steering wheels, because he had a closed steering wheel and an open one. And I was like, well, let me check mine, see what I got. And so here are 2 7-spokes. And you can see here, see if I can get it. You have open and closed steering wheels on those. The 3-spoke and the 5-spoke I have are closed, which I thought was interesting after looking at a bunch of mine. Almost all of them have open steering wheels. And I have this extra Screecher car here, and it's got a closed one. It's kind of hard to kind of look at that. There you go. Now you can see it because the windshield's all kind of smashed down. But that had a closed one. But all my other ones from around that same time seem to have, open steering wheels. So there's, an open steering wheel. So another thing to kind of look at on the 65 Mustangs, I have to go back and see which ones have open or closed steering wheels. So I'll do that one day, go through all that, and see what I could find on the eBays and stuff, and see which cars have variations. We got Aaron joining us, Hot Wheels Redline. What's up, guys? We're just chatting. All right. Have you ever thought about making a channel for 1-to-1 scale content? Oh, I don't know. I've never thought about it for sure. I thought about doing some like 6-liter and 7.3-liter diesel, stuff, making some videos, because I've done some of the head stud changeovers or gone in and had to do like the O-rings. They're kind of a pain on the injectors, and so there's special tools. I'll say special, but they're tools that you can't get from every manufacturer. Like I had to go through Snap-on and Craftsman and I think another company to get the right specific tools to get in there to make it as easy as possible, because the passenger side is a kind of a pain to get the oil rail off of, and it's got like I can't remember the size of it. There's star head bolts and stuff, but um, but to get something in there to take them off is kind of a pain. So, but I thought about doing that kind of stuff, and then upgrading. I thought about doing and selling like battery cables and making my own. I bought a set from somebody, and he was kind of like, "Hey, this is the last set I'm kind of making," and I was like, "Man, I don't know of anybody else that's doing this." And I started to get my son and kind of involved. He's got the old Broncos, or I say older to him, 90 Bronco. And I was like, "Man, you could just go out there and make these nice battery cable sets for your truck, and then show them off, and people will buy them. There's especially for like a little side gig." But I thought about stuff like that, or if you want to know how like electric motors work, like 3-phase motors. I've gone through a bunch of that kind of stuff and worked on those, and contactors and all that kind of. I don't know. Like, so I've been doing some research also on some of that stuff because of my current position as the maintenance manager here at King's Dominion, and just kind of freshen up on all that stuff. So yeah, I thought about that kind of stuff, but I never really thought about just like a truck thing. But I did a live today showing some of my builds in my shop. What kind of builds? Like 1-to-1 builds or Hot Wheels builds? Oh, we got Ricky Bobby in the... He's got videos too. If you want to see some pretty cool stuff, you can go check out Ricky Bobby's videos also. What's up? I don't know if everybody saw the video. I'm still pretty stoked about this. I mean, it doesn't look like much of a difference on this video when I'm looking through here, but that is a bright yellow, almost neon yellow, in the left hand here. 57 Chevy. So, pretty stoked. There's also a China base, which I believe is going to be in the power launcher pack. There's a couple of those on eBay. I think one's like $10 too. So I'm hopefully having the China one coming in, and then I have a Razor wheel with a chrome base coming in, and that will be 10 different variations of this yellow 57 Chevy that I have found, and I'll have to get pictures of them, put them up on the website. I've only got like the 1 5-spoke or something right now from a 5-pack I opened. So, no, it's not like an orangey yellow. I'm telling you, it's like a neon yellow. It's kind of more of a greenish yellow than an orangey yellow. But Steven was selling it, and with some other ones, so I got a couple extras, but Steven was selling it, so I couldn't pass that up. I was trying to go pretty hard on 57 Chevys. I got a couple more to get. Been trying to convince one guy to sell off his Kodak one, see if I can get that one. And then the other one I haven't felt like paying for is the Bloomberg one or something like that. Some Bloom something. I can't remember now. But I know that's another tough one. I think it doesn't sound right. Bloomberg does not sound right. Bloomingberg? I don't know. Something like that. The other one I was talking about, the other one's kind of just a regular yellow in my, but I've been looking at these for the last couple of days, so it seems like a regular yellow. But I'll do a video on those once those all come in. That was pretty cool. And been a pretty good year for finding new variations. I still have this one sitting here. I think I gotta get this on there. But there's a 7-spoke of the Combat Medic on this Action News 5-pack, and then I have a ambulance coming from a 5-pack, not a 5-pack, in a playset that has 5 spokes, and I'm fairly certain it's going to have a China base, but it could have a Thailand base. So I know Walter and I have been kind of talking about it. A Multi-Meal paint over, yeah. So they repainted a bunch of these bodies, this Multi-Meal, with the black and then with the yellow tampos and stuff. So those are out there. A handful. This was a good one. This is super tough. There was another one came on eBay. I was thought about bidding on it too. I was like, that'll make a great trade for something I don't have. But I didn't have the extra money at the time to go ahead and throw it on there. Bloomingdale's, there we go. Slim Whitman has got it. The Bloomingdale's, yeah, I don't have that one. It's like it's over $100, maybe $200 car or something like that. So, but I tried to go after almost all of the 57 Chevys. There's so many. Once you start getting into the Code 3 stuff and the convention type stuff, it gets really crazy. But I think I have all of the, I would say 2005 and older stuff, except for the all the convention variations, which seem to continue to be coming out of left field. So, what are you doing, Diesel Dog? All better? You just want to cover up? Oh yeah, you can drop money on anything, it seems like, real quick. What's my favorite brand of diecast? I don't collect anything else. I only have other diecast stuff of actual cars that I like. So I don't even know what brand this is, but I have like a couple of these trucks. So there's F350, a little newer than my style, and then of course the Excursion. So I have stuff like this. Like I said, I don't even know what brand those are. I just saw that they were cool trucks. I have some, what are these? I think these are M2s, but my wife was getting some of these for the Roadrunners. The only problem is this is a 69 and I am a 70 Roadrunner fan, but at the time they weren't making any or a whole lot of 70 Roadrunners. So I have a couple of those. What else do I have? Most of my stuff's over here. Oh, here we go. I've got Fast and Furious 70 Roadrunner there. Like I said, it just has to do with cars that I've either owned or I like for that. But I don't have I don't collect anything particular outside of Hot Wheels. Yeah, the 70 Roadrunner is the. I don't know why I always kind of like stuff that a lot of people, there's not a whole lot of them. Like there's a guy with next to the dollar store actually when I'm coming home from work with a single cab international truck, like light duty truck, and has no bed on it, but it's got dual wheels on the back of it. And for some reason, like just that, I know that if I were to be fixing that up, I'm not going to see probably another one drive past me on the road. I kind of like that kind of stuff a lot. So these oddball, and I usually stick to more American type stuff because that's kind of what I grew up around. So Auto World has the best diecast for the money. They got some good stuff. I mean, I think everybody has good things on. It just kind of, for me, I grew up with Hot Wheels, and I've stuck with it for 30 years. So I don't have any reason to change. I still enjoy them. I still like the best part of me, and this is where I was getting into, like, because I was teasing about selling my stuff, and I don't know if I'm teasing. I think if somebody came up with 200K, I would probably do it, um, and build the house. But I enjoy the hunt. So when I'm, doing my research and finding stuff that isn't in any online guide or in any printed guides and stuff, I'm just like, boom, right? Like I feel like I found treasure. Like that's gold to me. So I think if I were to sell, like I said, I would keep a couple choice pieces, that probably those pieces that aren't in some of the guides that I've found over the years, and then everything else, I mean, it could be found. And if you have money, right? If I'm not paying, money, like the interest on my, to pay off my truck and whatnot, then you've got extra money to kind of do it. So I'm strictly a red line collector. Couldn't sell my collection. Yeah, I would agree with that kind of stuff. I would imagine you probably have paid a lot less than what you'd have to pay to get it back. So, and I knew that, like, I'd probably value the collection about 500,000 that I have, with all of the Mexico and France. I got most of the France cars. I got a bunch of Mexico. I probably got most of the Mexico cars now. I got a handful of the Italians. Leo's. I got a bunch of stuff, but that stuff. Granted, some of it may not come up for a couple of years, but it comes up. And if you know who has it, right, then maybe you have a chance of convincing them to sell it, to you or whatever. So it'd be something like that. But I enjoy the hunt more than anything as part of the hobby. I would say I think I have the most complete 77, and I don't want to say 77 because there's a lot of like super chromes I don't have. Just I don't know why I haven't gone after them, but I would maybe 78, 79 to 99. That's kind of where my niche is. I know I got them all here in the house. Everything fits here. I got a room just for the Hot Wheels, although it's kind of starting to overflow, and it's in my office, small office space, which I call an office. It's just the area underneath the stairs as you come down to the basement is my office, but it's all in the house. So, but there for a while, depending on where I was living in the Navy, I would have stuff in the, especially if I was going somewhere temporarily. Like the first time I went to Pensacola, I was only going to be there for a couple of months for schooling and then moved. So I had an apartment and I put it in a storage unit, which I didn't really like. But when you're renting an apartment, I rented a really small 2-bedroom apartment and it just wouldn't fit in there. But it's just kind of how it goes. I left at one point when I was doing some moving. I left it. I had bought my a house that my uncle and his family could live in Kansas, and I had some stuff stored there, but that turned out to be a disaster. Like I got it back, and it just wasn't in the greatest shape, and I think I was missing stuff, and I'm not even sure about it. So just kind of didn't work out very well. But yeah, I would have I keep it with me. This was 2011, so my 2-bedroom, and I'm talking small one, it was literally across the street from Pensacola, the Navy Pensacola base. So it was, I want to say it was like $600. So it wasn't super expensive, but this was also 14 years ago. Wow, 14 years, that's crazy. So I have a red line staff car, but I don't have the basic wheel staff car. And I bought it off of some weird auction online that it just happened to come up. But I've been kind of holding out for a decent Blackwall, but they're usually going for like, I don't know, $800, $1,000 for a nice mint one. And when I have the money, it doesn't pop up, and when I don't have the money, it pops up. It's kind of how it goes with a lot of stuff. there's certainly a lot of, at least in the 77 and 99 stuff, which I'm fairly, really familiar with. There's a lot of, I think there's a lot more out there um, than what is on these guides, and I think that's what's awesome about it. I mean, you gotta think you can't look at everything with that type of scrutiny. There's just so much. So when I'm dialing in like this, when I was doing this, I found this ambulance, right? I found that the Blackwall ambulance that first came out um, had 14 different package variations that you could get it in, right? So there's the new model black and blue card. There's the regular black and blue card. Then it got to become, or sorry, black. Yeah. Then you have the blue card, number 71, I think, and it's on there, and it has a speed points up in the left hand corner. Then it's a pamphlet inside it. Then it has no pamphlet, or no speed points recognition. And then there's the light blue in the background, and then there's international with the regular full blue card and the light blue in the background. And then it came on in a 5-pack and 2 5-packs, one vertical and one horizontal. Like it's so if you wanted all the variations of that, just the Blackwall, like there's a bunch of, plus there's the Canadian blue box. There's an Australian blue or Australian rainbow box. So yeah, there's 14 different packaging that you could find just the Blackwall Malaysia one in, and that doesn't really account for if it's light blue or dark blue in the Tampo. But I think I'm gonna not discriminate on those, just because, or discern those. I think this depends on how much ink was left and what you're going into. But that's how I found a 5-spoke China base. I say China because I think that's what it's going to be, but it could be Thailand, in a playset. And so that's coming. And like I said, that's not in anything. And that's how I found it, right? Like I was doing research on one particular casting, looking at everything closely, thinking about what is potentially available and what's out there and the years that it was made and all that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, it's kind of crazy for that particular casting, and that's how I find it. But you'd have to do that for every casting, every wheel variation, every color variation, right? Like, and that's why I think you can still find stuff that's not really been documented, right? You get some like the Camaro stuff. I would say it's highly documented, right? All that different Camaro, 67 Camaro stuff that's out there. People collect those like die hard, and so most of that's available to you, right? All that your regular kind of stuff has probably been documented fairly well, but when you get into fantasy cars or the I won't say mundane, but your city kind of stuff, your police cars, your fire stuff, ambulances, like all that rescue stuff, construction equipment, like I don't think any of that was heavily scrutinized, just because I won't say nobody, but very few people are going and be like, all right, I'm going to find every wheel loader variation that there is, right? So it's just kind of one of those things. So when I find, different variations of stuff that hasn't come out, I enjoy it because I feel like I've found something, like I said, gold, and then I can share it with people. So if you're that particular, fan of that casting, then here it is. Now you know that others exist that you can go after. Yeah, it takes a special nerd. Yeah, I'm a special nerd for sure. Um, highly trained in by the Navy and the NSA to look at stuff. And even I miss stuff because I just, you get complacent on things, right? Where you're like, oh, I've seen that before. I've done that. Like wheel variations stand out very easily to me for some reason. I don't know why. But when you get into some of the other stuff, I just, like Hot Wheels logos. There's different colors of Hot Wheels logos on stuff. Sometimes I'll miss that kind of stuff because I'm just like, I pass it up, assuming that it would it would normally have to be the same. So. Oh yeah, Monza cars are they kind of do feel cheap. For sure. And they made a bunch of Leos, so that didn't help it. On that. I got a couple of Leo Monzas, and they just, no, not the greatest deal there. But like even these, Porsche, 959s, like I kind of went after, right? Like you got the larger logo and the small logo and stuff. Like only your Porsche guys were really paying attention to all that kind of stuff, and then they get into like this little axle thing back here. Let's see if I can point it out here. So you can see here you have this little wishbone, I don't know what you call it, and then there's not one on the backside, but this one has one on the backside. Now it seems like they are tied to the size of the Hot Wheels logo, so it makes it a little bit easier, but only your like heavy duty, die-hard Porsche fans are pointing that kind of stuff out. Nobody's pointing that stuff out for every single casting, which means you could go find something for it. Another would be like this was kind of recent in the last couple of years, but this is a thick exhaust stack on the back of it. And the earlier ones, this would thin out and be a little skinnier at the top. So there's a bunch of different variations for the Peterbilt trucks with that kind of, casting difference in it. And I don't know, what the purpose was. If somebody had stepped on that and it had, poked through their foot or, caused them, did hurt them or in some way, and then they flattened it out just a little bit more so it wouldn't be as detrimental. I don't know. Yeah, the rare 5-pack cars like this one with a blue interior, and James says he's gonna sell his steel stamp 57 with the alternate interior and that thing. I hope I'm present for it because I'd like to get that one too. But that's not a 5-pack car. I mean the yellow one is, but not the steel stamp, obviously. But yeah, I'm a huge 5-pack car fan. There's all kinds of rare stuff in those packs that nobody knows. That's where I just found, the 5-spoke Ferrari F40. So finding stuff like that is awesome, especially if you get it kind of cheap. You get it, under the radar. Then you're like, man, I got something, and it's you using your knowledge to get ahead a little bit, I guess. I got a couple of 57 Chevys with a different interior. That one seems to be a normal kind of thing or transition piece. So, what else was there? I don't think I have anything else sitting around me that was super crazy. I'd be curious if somebody has gone through like the Toyota. What are these? Supras or not Supra? I can't remember what this is. I got this one for a friend. This is an extra, but MR2. But I'm sure there's some MR2 nut out there who's tracking variations that other people don't know about, like having the chrome fog lights or no chrome fog lights. But some of these are a little higher price than what people are kind of value them at, like especially the power launcher cars and stuff. Some of those are probably $35, $40, $50 cars, but now people are automatically, even loose ones are like, $85, $100. I'm like, all right, there's like 3 of them on eBay, so they're not super rare, but I guess they saw somebody get some money when there wasn't a whole lot on there, so it is what it is. That's this one. It was a 5-pack car. This is a 5-pack car. Yeah, this is all plastic body, plastic base, and no engine, so no metal whatsoever in this thing. Definitely, well, I guess the axle, but it's not die cast or not. Yeah, just a metal, pin or whatever. But yeah, all plastic. And there's only a handful of all plastic cars that are actual, have the Hot Wheels insignia on it. Trying to think of them. I know the Tough Customer, or its new name. I can't remember what the newer name is, but the Tough Customer came in a 2-pack, and both of those cars are all plastic. I think it was the Jeep or something. So those are all plastic. There's not a whole lot of them. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to not put out a die-cast car. It doesn't have some part of it. But even the 1983 stuff, right? They took the Hot Wheels insignia off of it, off of them, most of them, and but they still had metal parts, right? Metal body and base, or at least some metal part on there. Trying to look at the ones that are up there. So some have metal or plastic bases that previously had metal bases. So like they did some of that kind of stuff, but those weren't supposedly Hot Wheels, just Mattel cars that were supposed to be cheap, and now they're not so cheap. As I still have a couple variations to get on there. I know I have I think there's a Mini Trex. I have a couple of variations of those to get, and the drag cars. I can't remember which ones, but they have different bases that you can get, which is kind of similar with all the drag cars that have that base. So, but yeah, you would think, the coolest and fastest die-cast cars would have some metal in them. But not too many don't have all, are that way. Not too many are just all plastic. So I guess there's that. And when they put out the ones, I guess they forgot what they were doing. Like, oh crap. Kind of slipped through their engineering team or whatever, their management team. I was 3 years old, so not a whole lot of hunting by myself, and certainly no memory of it. My earliest memories are of the parking plate stuff, which is why I have a ton of those variations, and I kind of worked on those. I actually got a couple more I need to get. The Ferrari Testarossa, there's a variation that's pretty tough in there I need. There's a regular 57 Chevy that it's a little bit easier to get. I just haven't gotten the base variation for it, and I don't know why, because really what it is I haven't gone and looked at which base I need, and then when I see it, I'm like, which one do I need? And I don't feel like it. I was like, it's always available. But there's, so the Testarossa, a 57 Chevy, the Nissan 300ZX with the different, I think, interior. I think there's a red interior in that, or a different base. There's a base variation on the Camaro Z28 that I need, the international one, with the black on the bottom of it. There's probably a Solaire variation I'm looking for. So I've been searching for the purple Virtual Series go-kart with the reverse Tampo color. I didn't even know that existed. That's what, 2000, or at least 2000 and newer. That's when the Virtual Series collection came out, right? Around that time frame. So I don't even know about. I haven't gotten all that yet. It's been a pretty good year though. I've gotten some pretty cool cars. This came this year, finally, after a long time of searching, and finally I think I've worked up $100 for it or something like that, which I didn't really want to do yet, but when you get down to the last cars, you kind of either you buy it or you wait. We got a bunch of Mexico stuff in. Oh, I think this is the Mexico version of the Cannonade. The reverse different color Tampos or whatever. Still haven't found what place at the Road Pirate has come from yet. Been continuing that search for a while. I won't say the whole year flew by, but I can tell you that November flew by. Goodness, that I excuse me, I blinked and that was gone. October a little bit too, but November was pretty quick for me. For obviously I didn't make a whole lot of videos. I don't know where time went. It was gone between working and doing stuff around here and whatnot. So, but I got some pretty awesome cars this year. Now that we're winding down, hopefully next year I can work on finishing some of the other sets that I'm working on. I'd like to finish the cop rods, fire rods, and military rods. I'm pretty close on most of those. I don't know if I'm ready to fork out the money for the two fire rod and military rod Silverados, but the rest of them, I should have the last of the 50 state cars coming, so that will be pretty cool. So waiting on a box with those. I think I needed one of the Novas I was definitely missing, so I'll have that full set. We'll get those on sometime on the website. But yeah, it's been a pretty good year of finding stuff, come to think of it. If only I could find a clear window yellow custom Corvette. I'm just messing with you, Walter. Trying to think what else. Oh yeah, they're way overpriced. The cop rod stuff, it's ridiculous. I know people were using them as customs when they first came out, so then that diminished, and supposedly they were in the later half of the series of those, that so there wasn't a whole lot made or something. I don't know, but it's ridiculous. But I am down to, let's see, my military rods. I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4. My fire rods, I'm missing 2, and my cop rods, I am missing 4 of those also. So about 10. I wish I could find the 5-spoke. I got obviously the SCW wheel, the Screecher wheels. Do I say it? I have an extra Screecher wheel one, but I don't know if I'm ready to give that up. I have my loose one, and I have one in the 172 package. I might give it up for the right thing, though. We'll have to see. Is it sitting over here? Is it sitting close? I thought I had it sitting down here, but I may have put it up. It might be in the other room. So I got the 7-spoke and 5-spoke Cobra Roaring rods. Weren't they all 7-spoke, with the exception that 5-spoke was the tough one? I think I got the 5 one. You say you got what I need. I don't know that you have full trade value on that Miata. I think we're a little off. We might have something. We might could work something out. I know you just found another one I was looking for. So I think I have the 5-spoke. Maybe I don't have the 5-spoke Cobra for the Roaring rod. I think I have the sports car series 5-spoke is what I got. I don't think I have a 5-spoke Roaring rods Cobra yet, which is kind of strange because I've really gone after 95 because that was kind of the year that I started collecting, and I went after a bunch of that stuff. But I have a lot of first editions, even some that are also not in the guide. Aaron, if you got something to trade, I'll look at it too. So I'm not 100% convinced I'm ready to let go of it. This is another one I've been waiting to open. I I have another guy that really wants the package, so he wants me to open it carefully and provide him with the package and everything, but I haven't gone that route yet. But I can't wait to, and once I get that on the website and pictures of it, I'll probably do a video of opening this without damaging the card, and then he wants it, so I'll probably mail it to him. Yeah, I can't. I already promised him I would give it to him because I was like, well, of course I don't need it. Like, what am I gonna do after I do that? I have Carney displays. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I got about 10 Carney displays. I just got these other ones just for the holiday stuff, but I'm gonna build them out of PVC board, and you can get different colors. So I might break it up. I'm trying to decide. Here's the tough spot, right? Like, how do you display everything on the wall? Do you do it by like series, right? So I could put a whole blue card or 1990 to 1999, collector number series together. So I put all that together. But then you have duplicates if you were to go back to like the 80s stuff, right? Because some of those crossed over. If I do it by castings, I could do that, which is kind of what I have in my Hot Wheels room. But I don't know. It's I gotta figure this out because I have some stuff by series, like these holiday rods. Are all together. All the cop rod, military, all that kind of stuff is together. My A3 Speed Machine series are together, but then most of my other stuff is kind of by casting. I guess my parking plates are together. California Customs are together. All is like big series. So how do I display all the stuff? I don't know that it works out. I've been trying to figure that out because there's a bunch of different ways. Like, you could do it by year, right? So you could say, all right, 1977, these are the castings that have been produced, right? Or I could put it by like the base year or something like that. And then, but that, was 77 and 78, but then you're going to have, makes and all different makes and models and stuff. And I don't know. I got to figure out exactly how I'm going to do everything because I don't know that I want to. I kind of like the series idea and I like the casting idea. So when I'm looking for something and somebody's like, hey, do you have this 57 Chevy? I can go over to all 57 Chevys and pull them up, look at the wall and go, okay, I don't have that particular one. But if they say, do you have this, Cal Custom 57 Chevy? Do I have it in the series or do I have it in the casting itself? I don't know. So I guess these are great, like, first world problems to have when you're a collector. But trying to kind of go through that. Right now, all my stuff is done by casting, and then I have it broken up by, makes and whatnot. So all my Fords and Mercury and Lincoln are all kind of together. All my Chevrolet, GM, Cadillac, all that stuff's together. So all of it's kind of in that kind of fashion. All my, city stuff is together. Military construction's together. Foreign cars are together by kind of like somewhat by, country. So like Germany or stuff like that, Japan. But I don't know. I like seeing my sets together, my series, I guess. Also, I guess that's why I'm kind of stuck there. I believe the more lime yellow. I'm pretty sure all of these came from the 5-packs, all the Malaysia-based ones. Now, as far as the different, there's a metal flake, and once that China base comes in, I'm going to show. That's why I'm waiting for these last ones to come in. The China base has more of this metal flake yellow paint on it, and I have seen it, and I missed out on a place that had the 57 Chevy yellow one in it, and the Volkswagen Bug, the purple one, although it had 3-spoke instead of 7-spoke. And so I'm curious on that particular playset. I'm waiting for one to pop up again, if those had China bases or something else. Now, do I believe it's strictly going to be a China base inside these playsets? No, I have a playset here with I think a handful of cars. It's one of the bigger playsets that has a '57 Chevy in it, and I think it's the China base one that comes in there. But that China base is that yellow is a more of a metal flake yellow. It's more pronounced than the regular ones, but I would, from my understanding, is the yellow one came from the 5-pack. But again, I don't have a 5-pack with it in there to say that. So there could be some lime yellow ones that maybe were only distributed in play sets, and that would be cool to know, to be able to share also. So that's good theory there. Until we find it, right? And I guess anything's open. My rarest piece or my most expensive piece? That's like, those are two different things. You do most of your stuff by series. Yeah, see, I like my series stuff. The other thing I could do is, right, I could put all my France stuff together, right? I could put all the Italy stuff together. I could put all the Leo stuff together. But again, those cross, casting lines and stuff. This is probably my most expensive car that I have right now. This is a Leo Hotbird. I would say, I know what I paid for it. I paid a lot for it, but it's probably around $3,000. Somebody would probably give me $3,000, $3,500. So that's probably one of the rarest and most expensive cars that I have. But when you say rare, I mean, shoot, for rarity, right? Like, how many people have a 7-spoke, right? How many people have that? How many people have the 5-spoke here? How many people have a 5-spoke China-based ambulance that's coming? Right. If you don't know about it, they're pretty rare. So, there could be less of some of these other cars than there are of these expensive cars, right? Let's see here. I would consider, like this, pretty rare car, right? And I would love to find it on the 207 package. I know those exist. I hear you, Walter. People consider like that to be super rare, right? We're looking at $250 for something like that. The Mountain Dew Stalker cars, right, with all the different bases, the Mountain Dew Stalker base, and then the NASCAR base, and then the common base, right, which is I don't know what. Oh, Racing Stalker. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Right, some would consider that to be fairly rare, right? And there's a couple wheel variations on this, or if it has one or two of those pieces in the back. It's hard to. I guess what I'm saying is I can't wait until we get the website auction house up, because that's purely going to have numbers based off of sales. I just didn't have the money at the time. I just don't have it. Money like that. I have a huge Mountain Dew, and I do have one that's, I don't think it's hand painted. But there is no side tampos on that particular Larry Wood piece there. And this is all the variations here. So, got all the different bases. I got them all in card, because it's one of my favorite pieces. But, it's hard to say. That's why I want to get the website up to with the auction site and provide real-time data on what cars are being sold, right? And when we start looking at like the rare stuff, right? I'll have all the data, and we can go back and be like, I would imagine like where these lines are at the top of this particular hot bird, right, are going to be a little bit different. Something's going to be a little bit different than another one that sells. So if we're looking at this, we can say like, if I were to sell this now and then it gets sold again and again and again, that's the same car. But if we're talking about super rare, right, we could look into that kind of stuff. So, and see if it's the same car or a different one. And then, having the people document their collection on the line will provide us with some numbers as well. Granted, anybody can, click the button and say they have something when they don't, but I don't know why you would do that other than to say like, I've got some rare cars and want notoriety, but you don't. But anyway, so there's like all this stuff tied together will give us an idea of like how many of each thing there is, each car there is, to a point, right? The less rare stuff is, it'll be very skewed, right? But the more rare something is, I think it'll be less skewed because most people aren't going to lie, right? And the more stuff is available, they're not going to document. So it kind of goes in that route, I think. For stuff that's super rare, I would be, interesting to see those kind of, information on all these different cars and what they sell for, and that, providing an actual value of, pertinent data. So, but that's just me. I like to know that kind of stuff. 'Cause I feel like if you look through guides that have numbers in them, prices or values in them, I don't think they're not all indicative of what they are. And certainly I know things change, but I don't even think they were right to begin with. They have, a couple 5-pack cars that are like $3 in there. I could tell you for sure I would pay $3 for every single one of those I ever found if that was the case. Like this, we'll keep talking about the yellow Corvette with clear windows. I think that in a guide says it's, $3 to $5. No way. Not happening. Like, there's very few of those out there, I would say. And I get that they're kind of a pain to see, because if you have a picture of a 5-pack, you have to check if it's, a dark picture and make sure that, it's clear and not tinted, but that's stuff like that. But, those 80s Camaros sitting in the background, like this one here, with the black window and the, goodness, let's focus here, 7 spokes, right? And then you have the next rare one, I would say, is with the orange 7 spokes. Like, those two are pretty tough because your normal one is going to have blue tinted windows, right? So how many of those exist, right? I would think that this one's probably around $100, $150. This one may be around $100, and then, the next closest one I would say is the gray interior, but that's just a nicer one that people kind of like because it actually has interior, and you're probably looking at $25 to $30 for that, and everything else is less from the other variations. So I can't wait to, I say that, but I got to put the money into, make it all work like that. So, but I think it'll be a very useful tool. I think the answer of what people want will be there. They may not like the answer they get, and I use the example of the Treasure Hunt '67 Camaro, right? Is that rare? I don't think it's rare. I just think it's valuable. And I get it, if you could sell it for $1,000, and why not sell it for $1,000? But they're almost, I bet if I went on eBay right now, there's a 1995 Treasure Hunt car for sale. So, do I consider something like that rare? Not really. There was supposedly 10,000 of them made. Is it 10,000 and then another 3,000 that was made in the Sears box? I don't know. Gift sets. But I think it's perspective. So I don't like calling like that one rare when I have, you know, the two different colors of the metal flake blue ones, right? I think those are one of 500, and those go for considerable less. Now they're getting up there. I think they're about $200 a piece now, 250 maybe, especially if you've got the color discern differences. But I think those are more rare than a 67 Camaro Treasure Hunt, and they're, you know, a quarter of the price, right? My silver Vector is a one of 500 car. You're looking at $150 to $175 for that one. Still somewhat popular. Maybe not as, you know, it's obviously not as popular as the 67 Camaro, but hey, it is what it is. My only regret is back in 2004, 2003, 2004, 2005, I think 2004, 2005. I was in contact with a guy that had his own little flea market place, and he probably had, I don't know, his shelf, his little peg was filled with 67 Camaro Treasure Hunt cars at $20 a piece. And I remember thinking $20 for a car was expensive, and they were everywhere. And I was like, well, okay. And I didn't buy any of them. That's kind of a regret, because then you could use that to get things that you didn't have down the road. If I'd known they were going to be $1,000 or more, I would have paid the $20 back then. But I guess you got to have the foresight for it. And like I said, I always thought, and which is true, they've always been available. If you've ever wanted a 67 Camaro Treasure Hunt car, it's available. Whether or not you want to pay for it, that's a whole nother thing, but they're always available. So I can go and ask, I probably put a post on Facebook right now and say, hey, I'm looking for that car. And I will get people like, I'm ready to sell, right? And they'll come up with these crazy ass prices, $1,100, $1,200, $1,000, right? And I'm like, no, I want, you've got so many of them, right? Why not? How about 250? And nobody's gonna take it. Nobody will take it. So it kind of is what it is. I mean, we've been doing it for a long time. My biggest regret is not grabbing the green Henry's hauling with gray hubs and gray plow. Gray hubs? Oh, wow. I don't think I've even seen that. That'd be a new variation. I'd like to see that. That's pretty cool. Interesting, because in 85, which I think is the year that those came out, right? A lot of your late Real Riders that came out in 85-ish had white hubs. So that's an interesting conversation piece, for sure, to talk about stuff like that, because I don't know if a lot of people don't know that, but 83, 84 was, your gray hub stuff was kind of your standard, and then finally they had a difference. They had that white hub come out, and they started to kind of transition. But all of your later releases, especially with your new paint jobs, like that green one, only supposedly, I guess now we know, maybe has gray hubs, but had white hubs. That's why all of your Real Riders from France, I'm pretty sure all have gray hubs. Now, the exception that I would say, and I think this came out later too, the Grease Gremlin from Mexico has white hubs, but I think that was a 1985 car. I think that came out a couple years later, because Mexico made cars beyond 83, 84. And I'm not sure that France necessarily did. I think France was they made all their stuff in 1983, maybe 84. I don't know if they went into 85. That's just from thinking about it. I haven't done any necessary research on that, but I'm just trying to think about what was available, all the different variations that came out. Those were all castings from that time period. Was there a casting that was available in 1985 that was, in the U.S. market, that was made in France also. I don't know. Let's look at 1985. We do that on here. It's another cool thing about the website, although there's a big glare on there. Let's see if I can get that to go away. There we go. Set this to 85, and we'll look at it just by base year. 1985. So, Road Flipper, Firebird. I don't remember any France Firebirds or Camaro Winds. Cargo Oil. Double Demon. Evil Weevil. It's not a lot to choose from here. A bunch of Fangster. I don't remember any France Ford Aerostars. Turboa, no. Third page. Vampira, no. That's probably the last one. Yeah. So that's 85. Let's go look at 84. I have not found anything out about it other than it's kind of an anomaly. Another piece to talk about on that Sheriff Patrol. Not wheel type, base filter. Here we go. 84. I also, yeah, in a way. I would say there's three categories. There's definite errors, right? And to me, when it comes to wheels, errors are anything that doesn't roll. So if it has all big wheels and the fronts don't operate correctly, if it has small rear wheels and they're they don't allow the vehicle to roll because there's the little pieces that hang down to support the wheel or the backside of the wheel, right? So there's errors. There is transition pieces that normally they wouldn't have come out with, and then there's the regular version of it. And so I like the transition pieces the most. There was a Fiero, so there's definitely, I have Fiero Leos. Oh, Leos, no, not France. I don't have any France Fieros. Leo for sure. What else? Oh, see, there's the Leos. France Goldstepper. No, there's Leo Goldsteppers. Because there'll be, I think I have it on here too, or we already passed it. Oh, there it is. So there's that one. Jet Sweep, that's a no. Nissan 300ZX, never seen a France one of those. So I think everything Tall Rider is a no. XT3 is a no. That should be the last one, right? Yeah. So 83 seems to be the year that France made vehicles, right? And so that's, again, like I got one sitting here. Here's a France Cadillac Seville with gray hubs, because that was the only color of wheel you could get at the time, I think. At least that's kind of my theory. Leos were made up for a few more years, so those are going to have different, but I don't know of any Leos that have real riders. Mexico has real riders. Most of them are gray hub, but the Grease Gremlin is white hub. But I think that one was made in 85. So, interesting stuff. Awesome stuff to talk about. I wish I had a Grease Gremlin with from Mexico. I don't have that one. I also wish I had the Grease Gremlin from that was a Leo. There's a couple variations of that. There's a yellow one that's the most popular, but I think there's two other variations that are even tougher, which means more expensive, and that's why I don't have them. So, but if anybody has any information on France making vehicles beyond 83, I would listen to it. But I don't think that's the case, because I don't see any newer castings that were put out with in France. So I think it was a 1 year deal. Same thing with the speed machines. Same thing with the Italy cars. And I think that Mexico and India had I think they worked out and they were maybe a little bit more profitable, and so they continue to make cars. And I don't know a whole lot about Venezuela yet, but I'm trying to find information about it. But I don't know that I've seen a Venezuelan car with Real Riders yet either. I can only imagine what that if a Venezuelan car currently goes for $1,000 in its regular form, a Real Rider I can only imagine would be like a $5,000 car. I did get the 7-spoke. It'll be coming in the mail hopefully soon. So that'll be cool. He's referring to a dragster like this with 7 spokes on it, which I have loose, so this one will stay on the card, and we'll put it on the website as such. All right. What else is going on? Anything else we want to talk about before I jump off? Any other questions? Shows that we got 7 people watching, but we know that not to be kind of true. Could be anything. Could be Big Brother watching us. Another great live video for the books. I had fun. It was fun talking about this stuff. I like thinking about what possibilities could be out there, and you know, the reasoning behind some of this stuff. So, like I said, I don't have any insight. I don't have nothing. You know, I didn't work for Mattel. I didn't start really collecting until '95, and even then, it was just just what was on the pegs. I didn't go to any conventions. I didn't go to any clubs or nothing like that. It was so it's all kind of just what I've gathered from what I've collected. Like really, so. But I appreciate everybody hanging out. Diesel Dog appreciates it. Oh yeah, it's hard to say what's out there. I mean, there's the Leo stuff is never ending. That is one deep rabbit hole. Also, employees could get bored, and oh yeah, I don't think that I don't know that I could see like some employees, if there was like an employee that was a collector or something, maybe they would. Certainly nowadays they play around with wheels, but back then, I think the difference would be they ran out of stuff, right? So if you ran out of Hot Ones wheels, and all you have to put on there is black walls, then it got black walls for a short period of time until somebody came back and was like, and you said, hey, I'm out of these Hot Ones wheels, and they go, oh, let me go get you some more, and they give you some more, and now you start back on putting, they go back in there, or they fill the hopper up, or however that's working, right? So I think most of the cases like that, even for interiors and windows, I think they'll, like this one here, right? They ran out of the normal black interior, or they had blue ones left over in the beginning, and they said, "We'll go ahead and use those blue ones up, and then we'll switch it to what the black ones, and we'll take them, go from there." Right? Like I think that's what happens nowadays. I think people are doing whatever the fuck they want. To be honest, I don't know if that's gonna pass my YouTube thing, but I think they do whatever they want on those, and so anything is possible. I think that's why all the unspuns come out. People are able to get them because people sneak them out of the factory and do all that kind of stuff. But today's a different world than it was 20 years ago for sure, and even in the 80s, almost 40 years ago, or 40 plus years ago if you go to the beginning. So, but I think there's a lot of stuff out there. So if you're looking, you might find things that you've that isn't documented, and show us, show everybody, right? I want to know. yeah, greed plays into it now for sure. But I don't think that was the case back then. I don't think anybody thought these were super expensive toys. You know, I think they thought they were toys, and they're just not anything crazy. But 20 years ago, or in the last 20 years, it's gotten like I don't really you know, when I see a variation, you know, somebody has loose, and it doesn't have to be loose anymore because it's so easy to pull the package apart without destroying it or messing it up. But all the old stuff, right? I would say if you had you know, a rainbow card, you know that thing is either has never been pulled apart because they do not want to release over that time period. So, but anyways, had fun talking about it, and we will. I'll see if I can do it next weekend also, and appreciate it. So thanks for watching, and I'll try to get 1996 holiday stuff going and 97 holiday stuff. So once you see it pop up on the website MVP Hot Wheels, you know the video's coming soon. So y'all have a good afternoon. I'll talk to you guys later. Right, bye.